Boom, 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 boom. Alright, so YouTube, let's figure top 10, top 10 greatest USA players of all time reaction. Let's see, like Johnny Arnett. Let's get into it. That Curry, man. Saucing up LeBron.
Today, I'm tackling a type of list that I haven't seen done yet on YouTube. I'm ranking the top 10 greatest players in the history of Olympic USA basketball. Now, there are several factors at play. Although I will be considering the skills and talent of each player at the time they wore the US jersey, I will also be considering what they specifically accomplished while they were playing for Team USA, and their statistics during that time will significantly matter as well. For example, Allen Iverson is officially one of the 75 greatest NBA players of all time. But because he only participated in one Olympic event in the year 2004, he only won the bronze medal, and he shot well below 40% during those Olympic Games, he will not be making this list, regardless of his talent and regardless of the fact that he was one of the best NBA players at the time. Hopefully, that all makes sense. So without further ado, let's get into it. Number 10, Patrick Ewing. This 7-foot center is a legend in New York, but he was pretty darn good on the global stage as well. Ewing won 2 gold medals with Team USA, one in 1984 and one in 1992. International centers didn't have much of an answer for him, as the bruising big was able to score with ease, just about every time he felt like it. Over his career in the Olympic Games, Patrick averaged 10.3 points, 5.4 rebounds, and 1.2 blocks on a lethal 62.3% shooting. He may not have been the most
like, I know he only averaged 10 points, but he played with other greats like Michael Jordan and Larry Bird and Magic and all these other great players all on the same team, bro. So you gotta realize that.
Dominating center on my list, but considering his legitimate impact for his country on multiple occasions, he's definitely worthy of being on my list. Number 9, Dwyane Wade. He doesn't have the most extensive career, as he only participated in 2004 and 2008, and he certainly got off to a rocky start in 2004, as he only averaged 7.3 points on 38% shooting. And the US finished those games in Greece with only a bronze medal. With that being said, he got his revenge in 2008, which is also the performance that earned his way onto this list. Many people focus on Kobe and LeBron's impact on the 2008 Redeem team, but in reality, Wade might have been the best player overall for those games, as he led all US players in scoring while shooting a whopping 67.1% from the field, which resulted in his lone gold medal. For his Olympic career, he averaged 11.6 points, 2.9 rebounds, 2.1 assists, and 2.2 steals on 54.4% shooting. It's also worth mentioning how he was extremely clutch down the stretch for that gold medal game, which makes me very comfortable placing him on this list despite the lack of volume. Number 8, Scottie Pippen. Whether it was NBA games or international games, Pippen was one of the greatest two-way players in the history of basketball. Throughout his Olympic career, Scottie won 2 gold medals, one in 1992 as a member of the Dream Team and another one in 1996. Not only was he an elite lockdown defender for Team USA, but he also embraced a role as a distributor on these extremely talented teams. His career Olympic averages were 10 points, 3 rebounds, 4.6 assists, and 2.3 steals on 55.1% shooting. Although he was able to coast as a scorer, of all the players on this list, Scottie has the highest assists per game average, and the second highest steals per game average, solidifying his spot on the list. Number 7, David Robinson. The Admiral was a consistent force for Team USA down low, as he won the gold medal twice in 1996 and 1992, and he won a bronze medal in 1988. Similarly to Scottie Pippen, Robinson was one of the strongest two-way players in the history of USA basketball, as he was a fierce rim protector. Over his career, he put up averages of 11.3 points, 5.2 rebounds, 1.1 steals, and 1.4 blocks on 60.8% shooting. Although many all-time great centers have worn the red, white, and blue, like Shaq, Hakeem Olajuwon, and Patrick Ewing, none of them consistently impacted the Olympic Games as strongly as Robinson did. Number 6. Charles Barkley. The round mound of rebound was incredible throughout his NBA career, but the crazy thing is, he stood out even more on the global stage, despite playing alongside of the best basketball players in the world. Chuck participated in 1992 and in 1996, and he won the gold medal in both of those instances. When people think about the Dream Team in 1992, three faces usually come to mind: Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, and Larry Bird. But what many people fail to realize is that none of those guys were actually the most impressive player during those Barcelona Olympics. That was Charles Barkley. Sir Charles led U.S. players in scoring, averaging 18 points per game on a ridiculous 71.1% shooting. He also shot a stupid 87.5% from three-point range, as Chuck was one of the guys who greatly benefited from a shorter three-point line in the international game. If I still haven't got the point across of how dominant he was in Barcelona, consider how this was his per 36-minute stats. They're just straight up goofy. For his career on the global stage, he averaged 15.4 points, 5.3 rebounds, 2.4 assists, and 1.8 steals on 74.4% shooting, and a ridiculous 75% from three.
People don't really talk about Charles Barkley when they talk about the greatest power forward of all time, but I need to stop disrespecting him, man, even though he's just like a little goofball on TV.
Point range. If he had participated in just one more Olympic event, then he likely would be in a top 3 spot on this list, thanks to his combination of his peak performance and consistency. But ultimately, due to a smaller sample size, he'll have to settle for 6th on the list. Number 5. LeBron James. Like his friend Dwayne Wade, LeBron's U.S. career got off to a rocky start, as he only averaged 5 points in limited minutes in the 2004 games, and his team only walked away with a bronze medal. It was a completely different story after that, though, as he helped the U.S. dominate in 2008 and 2012, where they won the gold in both instances. Just like his career in the NBA, LeBron impacted the games in a multitude of ways, efficiently filling up the stat sheet across the board. Over his career, he averaged 11.4 points, 4 rebounds, 3.7 assists, and 1.5 steals on a stellar 60.1% shooting. Without his frequent impact in 2008 and 2012, the US may have not ended up winning those gold medals, which earns him a top 5 spot on my list. Number 4. Kobe Bryant. The Mamba only participated in 2 Olympic events, but his team did end up winning the gold medal on both occasions, and you really can't overstate Kobe's influence and leadership in winning those gold medals. After the disappointing bronze in 2004, the U.S. specifically recruited Kobe for his veteran leadership and for his insatiable desire to win. For his career, he averaged 13.6 points, 2.3 rebounds, 1.7 assists, and 1.1 steals on 44.8% shooting. Offensively, you could definitely argue that several other players should be ahead of him on this list, but in that case, you would be ignoring Kobe's greatest contribution, which was on the defensive end. The Mamba accepted the assignment of consistently guarding the opposing best player, and his defensive effort and work ethic ended up being a massive inspiration to the team. I also have to mention how he clutchly closed out Spain in the gold medal game in 2008, with a series of monumental baskets, assists, and stops. I think I speak for everyone who watched that game, but the US likely doesn't win the gold that year without Kobe. Number 3. Carmelo Anthony. For Team USA, he may not have had a greater peak than, say, Kobe, LeBron, or Charles Barkley, but almost no one can say that they were as consistently deadly as Melo was over a long period of time for his country. He participated in 4 different Olympic events in 2004, 2008, 2012, and 2016, and he won the gold medal in 3 out of those 4 instances, tying him for the most gold medals in U.S. basketball history. He was consistently among the leading scorers throughout his long Olympic career, but more specifically, Melo was an absolute sniper from three-point range. With a slightly shorter three-point line, downtown was right in Melo's sweet spot. Throughout his career, he shot a tremendous volume of 139 three-pointers, and he made 41% of them. To this day, he is in second place on the USA's all-time scoring list, with many of these shots coming in moments where his team needed them. Number 2, Michael Jordan. MJ represented the last group of collegiate stars to win the gold medal in the Olympics, which they did in 1984. 8 years later, in 1992, Jordan led the Dream Team to absolutely destroy all of the competition that stood in their path, as he finished his US career without ever losing a single game. For Team USA, MJ didn't waste any time establishing himself as the very best, as he even dominated NBA All-Stars with a group of college players in '84. Over his career, MJ averaged 16 points, 2.7 rebounds, 3.4 assists, and 2.8 steals on 45.1% shooting. His 2.8 steals average is the highest of any player on this list. Not only was he regularly the leading scorer, but he was an absolute menace on defense, especially as a member of the Dream Team. In the 1992 games in Barcelona, MJ averaged an absurd 4.1 steals in only 23 minutes per game. That puts his per 36 minutes stat at a comically insane 6.4 steals per game. Whether it was in the NBA or overseas, it was nearly impossible to beat Michael Jordan when he was at his best. Number 1, Kevin Durant. When it comes to sustained American greatness on the Olympic level, it doesn't get any better than Kevin Durant. Kevin participated in the Olympics 3 separate times, and he won the gold medal each and every time. In all 3 instances, he was the team's leading scorer by far, as he's also the all-time leading scorer in US Olympic history, by quite the significant margin, I should add. Over his career in the Olympic Games, KD averaged 19.8 points, 5.4 rebounds, 3.2 assists, and 1.2 steals on 52.3% shooting. He also made 50% of his 148 three-point attempts, making him also the most lethal perimeter shooter that the US has ever had. If you need any more convincing, consider the fact that KD put the US on his back in 2020. And in the gold medal game where the US narrowly defeated France, Durant scored 29 of the United States' 87 points. Whether it's about winning the most, consistency, or statistics, by basically every metric, Kevin Durant is the greatest basketball player in US Olympic history. So what do you guys think? How does your list differ from mine? Let me know in the comments section below. Also, happy 4th to you and your family. Thanks for watching as always. Make sure to like and subscribe for more like and subscribe for more basketball reactions. Peace.